I have 5:30. I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. It's July 26th. This is the meeting of the Livingston County Board of Commissioners. If you would join me for a moment of silent reflection before we get started. Thank you. You would arise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, if you call the roll.
Commissioner Nakagiri.
Here.
Commissioner Griffith. Here. Commissioner Smith.
Here.
Commissioner Reiner. Here. Commissioner Helserman.
Here.
Commissioner Drick.
Here.
Commissioner Zajac.
Here.
Commissioner Gross.
Here.
And Commissioner Plank. Here. Quorum is present.
Thank you. Item 5 on the agenda is correspondence. This evening, we have 2 pieces of correspondence, one from Muskegon County, a resolution supporting Little River Band of Ottawa Indians Casino in Muskegon County, and a resolution from Wexford County opposing Michigan's Secretary of State by appointment only. Looking for a resolution to receive and place on file.
So move Helserman.
Support Griffith.
Motion by Commissioner Helserman, support by Commissioner Griffith. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Item number 6 on the agenda is our first call to the public. Anybody wishing to address the board has 3 minutes to do so. All we ask is that you provide your name and address before speaking. We'll start here in the room. Since there's nobody here, we'll move over to the virtual meeting room on Zoom. If you would either wave at us or use the Zoom raise your hand feature, you'll be called upon and have 3 minutes to speak. I don't see any hands raised. So I'm going to go ahead and close the call to public and just remind people, citizens, that we have a second call to the public at the end of the meeting. Item number 7 is approval of minutes. We have 3 sets of minutes dated July 12th, 2021, July 21st, 2021, and then closed session meeting minutes dated July 12th, 2021. Was looking for a motion to approve all 3 sets of minutes.
So move Gross.
Support Zajac.
Motion by Commissioner Gross, support by Commissioner Zajac. Is there any corrections or additions to any of the sets of minutes? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes are approved. Item 8 is tabled items from previous meetings. There are no tabled items, so we'll move on to item number 9 on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Looking for a motion to approve this evening's agenda.
Motion Smith.
Support Griffith.
Motion by Commissioner Smith, support by Commissioner Griffith. All those in favor of approving the agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? We have an agenda. Item number 10 is reports. Are there any reports from commissioners this evening? Seeing and hearing none, I'll close reports. We'll move to item number 11, which is approval of the consent agenda items. We have on the consent agenda tonight resolutions 2021-07-111 through 2021-07-118. Looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda. Griffith.
Support Reader.
Motion by Commissioner Griffith, support by Commissioner Reader. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, we need a roll call for the consent agenda.
Commissioner Griffith,
Yes.
Commissioner Gross,
Yes.
Commissioner Plank,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Reader,
Yes.
Commissioner Nakagiri,
Yes.
Commissioner Helserman,
Yes.
Commissioner Drick,
Yes.
and Commissioner Zajac.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item number 12 on the agenda is resolutions for consideration. First up is 2021-07-119. It's a resolution to authorize a second quarter budget amendment to the fiscal year 2021 budget. Is there a motion?
So moved, Griffith.
Support Gross.
Motion by Commissioner Griffith, support by Commissioner Gross. Any discussion, questions on the budget amendment?
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Zajac.
I just want to point out for my colleagues, I had a good discussion with Ms. Katnack about kind of the process, being my first time through and getting an understanding of how we keep track of kind of the benchmark. And I've received some reports and had good discussion, as I said, about as a going forward basis, even though there's amendments to the budget, we still have this approved 2021 budget as always the baseline, which I found to be important so that at the end of the year, though, we have a balanced budget, statutorily speaking. I was hoping to be able to have an understanding that we could say it's in fact balanced from what we approved, or at least have an understanding of we increased by X amount. And based on the reporting system, I understand that that's possible. So I just want to make that notion or that note for my colleagues. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments or questions? Seeing and hearing none, we need a roll call on this one too.
Yes.
Thank you.
Commissioner Griffith,
Yes.
Commissioner Gross,
Yes.
Commissioner Plank,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Reader,
Yes.
Commissioner Nakagiri,
Yes.
Commissioner Helserman,
Yes.
Commissioner Drick,
Yes.
and Commissioner Zajac.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Resolution 2021-07-120. It's a resolution approving an appointment to the Substance Use Disorder Oversight Policy Board.
Move Helserman.
Support Plank.
Motion by Commissioner Helserman, support by Commissioner Plank. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Let's see, resolution 2021-07-121. It is a resolution to certify officer and employee delegates to the 2021 Municipal Employees Retirement System Annual Conference. Is there a motion?
Move the resolution, Griffith.
Support Zajac.
Motion by Commissioner Griffith, support by Commissioner Zajac. Are there any questions, comments? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. The last resolution for the evening, 2021-07-122. It's a resolution approving appointments to the Livingston County Aeronautical Facilities Board. Is there a motion?
So move Zajac.
Support Smith.
Motion by Commissioner Zajac, support by Commissioner Smith. Are there any questions, comments?
I have a point of order. I understand that our new resolution asks us to vote on each candidate separately. So I would ask that we follow the resolution.
So I would say, are you make a motion to divide the question?
I'm just making a motion. We follow the resolution, and I guess that's what we need, divide. It should come to us divided.
Yeah, I think in the future, it should come to us divided for this evening. Is there a second on the motion to divide the question?
Support.
Motion to divide the question by Commissioner Helserman, support by Commissioner Reader. All those in favor of dividing the question signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So we'll vote on the candidates individually. I didn't print out the names, so.
Ronald Staley and Thomas Janego.
So, look, thank you. We'll take a vote on Mr. Staley first. Are there any questions regarding Mr. Staley? Commissioner Gross.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, I don't have a question regarding Mr. Staley, but I do have one from Mr. Janego, so I guess I'll wait.
Any questions regarding Mr. Staley? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of appointing Mr. Staley to the Aeronautical Facilities Board signify by saying aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? Congratulations, Mr. Staley. Mr. Janego is up. Commissioner Gross, did you have a comment or question?
Yes, I was just a little curious, and I apologize for not asking the question earlier, but Mr. Janego, as I understand it, is also a candidate for the appointment to the Huron-Clinton Metro Park Board. And I'm wondering, are we enabled to be able to have him serve in two functions simultaneously?
Yeah, I'm not aware of any rule that would prohibit that. I know it's up to the individual commissioners, in terms of how they individually feel about a candidate, holding multiple appointments. That's my read on it. As Administrator Byrd have any?
I don't know of any policy or resolution that would preclude somebody from being appointed to multiple boards. He would just want to make sure that his schedule allowed to attend the meetings if he were, but there's nothing that would prohibit him from being considered for the other appointment as well.
I see our legal counsel has a hand raised. Mr. Nordford.
Mr. Chair, our office could analyze that question as a potential incompatible public office issue. I'm not aware of any contracts that exist between the Metro Park and the Aeronautical Board. That's just one example of something. If there were contracts between the two entities, that could create an incompatibility, but we can certainly look into that factually and have that answer prior to his consideration for appointment on the Metro Parks Board.
Okay.
Thank you very much. That's a
Thank
good
you.
point. Any other questions or comments? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor of appointing Mr. Janego signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, Mr. Janego. Item number 13 on the agenda is our second and final call to the public. Anybody on Zoom would like to address the board, please indicate so by raising your hand, either virtually or just wave at us.
Mr. Chair, when everybody else is done, I have call to the public comment,
Sure.
if everybody else is done.
Yeah, I don't see anybody. Commissioner Helserman.
Yes, I just wanted to bring up a point. There are different states in our union that are having audits of the election. We've never had these types of questions in our country at this point. And the question is, when we have a sitting president that has been elected by the Electoral College, and if we find out that some of the supporting evidence of the Electoral College would bring our present president short of having that legally at the point in time that the electors cast their ballots. We don't know exactly what to do, but it is going on. There are questions even in Michigan, and the news media does a very good job of keeping all of this information quiet. So none of us can speak particularly to it. At least I can't, but I just want to let people know that these things are happening. And just so we need to pray for our country, because there's a lot of, we're all aware of all the forces that are trying to pull our country apart and trying to divide us. And We just need to pray for our country. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anybody else call to the public? Commissioner Zajac.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Two actually shout outs, if you will. I saw that Joe Bridgman's name was on the screen here, and I just want to give a shout out to Joe. I know he has a hard task of reeling all the cats when it comes to collecting finance committee or finance campaign committee reports, and today was that deadline, as my colleagues I'm sure know, and I appreciate his reminder emails because they were very helpful for me to be on time. And it's a thankless job, I'm sure he has, but a big shout out to Joe. The other thing I would like to shout out is I came hustling in from football practice, and so it's getting to be that time of year where school sports are starting again. I think it's very important that we support our student athletes and their endeavors. It's sometimes a way for them to pay for college. If anything, it keeps them off the street from getting in trouble. I know I'm out there, and I know that my colleagues, many of you have supported student athletes as well. So I would just encourage you and the public to continue to do that in Livingston County as we go forward. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anybody else? Comments? Seeing none, I'm going to go ahead and close to the call to the public and ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Helserman.
Support Griffith.
Motion by Commissioner Helserman, support by Commissioner Griffith. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? We are adjourned.
We don't